don't have to be a psychic to work out that she's a bit of a tortured soul, bless her. Oh dear, right, it's BBC WM Lunch with Caroline Martin, 11 minutes to 1. Right, we're going to find out exactly what the tricks are that psychics use now. With a bit of luck, Paul Brook from Willenhall. Hi, Paul.
Hey, Caroline, how are you?
I am not too bad, thank you very much. Thanks for joining me this afternoon. So you're a psychological mind reader.
Yeah, that's right. I use psychology, body language, eye movements, things like that to give the appearance of what real mind reading would look like if it existed in the real world. And for entertainment purposes only, of course.
Okay. Well, tell me how these psychics work then, because apparently there are little tricks that they use to get information out of us. What would they be?
First of all, I'd just like to make a distinction between I believe that there are two groups. There are people that are willingly deceitful, and people that genuinely just feel like they're intuitive, they can feel energies and things like that, and that they aren't using any deceptive trickery. But the other camp of psychics that are willingly deceitful share a common ancestry with what I do, if you will. The tricks are that they use generalities. They'll say things that either apply to a lot of people. They use statistics. Like guesswork. They might even do a bit of background research. But the key to this is not necessarily all in the psychic, but also in the person having the reading. Because as human beings, we have a really terrible memory function. And one of the key aspects that psychics will exploit is that we tend to remember what makes sense to us, what will hit, and we forget the stuff that misses. So if a psychic might sort of warble on for 10 minutes and get 90% of something wrong, you might remember the 10% of stuff that actually does make sense, that does fit in. And that's another key word, is that we try to make things fit into our memories, especially if you've gone there proactively, because the chances are you do already believe in psychic ability of some degree.
People sometimes go there, as we've already said, seeking answers, don't they?
Yes.
And maybe as well, if they're at a kind of a low point in life and they're looking for a bit of direction, they'll go and see if this direction is forthcoming from the psychic. And it is very true what you say, actually, very accurate, that if you go and have a reading, you can be sat there for 20 minutes, half an hour, and the only things that you talk about when you go out are the positive things and the things that you kind of almost want to happen. And sometimes you will bend what they've said to make it sound even more convincing than they made it, because it fits what you want it to be.
We all know that we do this anyway. I know when you tell a story, and it's not just about men, we all exaggerate the number of things. We all sort of embellish stories, and the more that you tell it, the more the embellishment builds on the embellishment. So you end up having something a story that never actually happened in the real world, but you genuinely remember it that way. It's not that you're actively trying to make it that way. It just happened. It's something that we do as human beings. It's part of our innate psychology. And the other thing that I'd like to mention is that trading standards are actually cracking down on psychics, because trading standards now have powers to do with the service industry and failure to provide services. And they're actually targeting psychics and mediums to the degree that they're not providing the service for which they claim to provide, which is another interesting aspect. And a lot of psychics out there are now having to put, for entertainment purposes only, and things of the like onto posters. But no doubt when they're actually I'm talking about big staged things now, big staged events, no doubt when they're in the stage, on the stage, in the staged event, that they're then saying, we have to put that on there, or things of the such, to circumvent this potential legal downfall for them.
Well, listen, Paul, you're no psychic, as you've said, so you can't see what the future holds for me at Dudley Castle then. What's going to occur there?
I see lots of fear, torture, black and darkness. No, I think it's going to be absolutely fine for you. I just remember this, is that the human mind doesn't like dark places. It creates hallucinations. It will make you fearful in every which way. Even if you don't think you're scared of the dark, you might feel like you've got a creepy crawler coming up your back and crawling into your hair. But don't worry about that, because it's actually a huge tarantula that they keep in the undercroft up there.
Oh, shut up now. Leave it, all right? Because
Caroline, you wanted to know the difference between psychics and mediums.
Yeah.
Now, the difference is that psychics pertain to see into the future, and a medium pertains to communicate with the dead.
Right, okay, well that has cleared that one up for me, so thank you very much for that. Listen, have a good afternoon, Paul.
One last thing, Caroline.
Go on.
If you want to see the kind of things that I do, if you want to just back up anything that I've said, if you want to see that I am qualified to talk about this, if you do put in Paul Brook Mind Reader into Google or any other search engine, you can watch a video on my website. You'll see me doing things, and you will swear that it is real mind reading, but it's not. When you watch it, just keep in mind it is psychology. It is regular soft sciences, real-world stuff. It's not paranormal in any way. And if I can do that, just think about what other people out there can do that are being a bit more unscrupulous, that want your money, and that they're going to try and take a bit from you in your moment of grief or whatever moment that you're in.
Listen, Paul, thank you very much for that. I'm certainly going to go and watch that. We're going to put that on Facebook as well, so anybody else can too if they like. Thank you, Paul Brook from Willenhall. We're going to put that link on Lunch with Caroline Martin, okay? Lunch with Caroline Martin. So talk to me about psychics. Maybe one has come along and said something astounding about your life that changed the course of it, or maybe it was for a bad reason. They said something was going to happen and that you lived the rest of your time.